Hey guys, Calamity here, and today we're going to talk about Dori, who was just released on the current banners with Ganyu and Kokomi. We're going to see if she's worth your Primo Gems if you so happen to pull for her. So let's start with the talents. First we have the Normal Attack Marvelous Sword Dance Modified. Now on first look, this doesn't seem to be anything fancy or anything unique or different. Multipliers seem normal. Nothing too different there. Let's look at the skill. Directs a spirit warding lamp to fire off a troubleshooter shot at opponents, dealing electro damage. After the troubleshooter shot hits, it will create 2 after sale service rounds that will automatically track opponents and deal electro damage. Looking at the skill multipliers for this skill, they seem pretty low, but again, Dori is a healer, so that's sort of to be expected, but I also still think these are kind of actually really low. It is spammable, I suppose, and you are shooting 3 projectiles, so maybe it's not as bad as I think it is. We're gonna try her out in the character trial run here. And then we have the burst, which allows Dori to summon forth the Jinni within the lamp to give the client various kinds of aid. Connects to a nearby character, the connected character will continuously restore HP based on Dori's max HP, continuously regenerate energy, and be affected by electro. When the connector between the Jinni and the character touches opponents, it will deal 1 instance of electro damage to them every 0.4 seconds. Only 1 Jinni can exist at one time. So the connector damage itself seems pretty low. The continuous healing from the burst seems pretty normal, nothing too crazy, but good enough. And then energy regeneration per tick is 2.3 over a duration of 12 seconds, so that means you'll be getting, I'm not sure actually, you'll be getting about, I mean if it ticks 1 per second, then that would be 24.6 energy, which it's a decent amount, but it's nothing crazy. And I am not a big fan of Dori having an 80 energy cost. I suppose it's because she can spam her skill a lot. Let's look at her other passive talents. After a character connected to the Jinni triggers an elemental reaction. Sorry, an electro elemental reaction. The cooldown for her skill is decreased by 1, and you can trigger this effect every 3 seconds. Okay, so not too hard there, and that's gonna definitely help with spamming this elemental skill. Compound interest is when the troubleshooter shots or after sale service rounds hit opponents. Dori will restore 5 elemental energy for every 100% energy recharge possessed. So by default, she's already getting 15 energy, so you don't even need to build energy recharge on Dori, basically is what this talent is. So you, assuming all of your shots hit something, right? You fire 1 shot, that's 5 energy, and then the 2 additional shots from the skill means an additional, 5, so 15. And that's the maximum you can get anyways. Not bad. So basically, this is going to help Dori get her burst back faster. I suppose that's why she has an 80 cost burst. Still think it should be a little bit lower though. Unexpected Order gives you a 25% chance to recover some of your materials when you're crafting character and weapon materials. That's always nice to have. Okay, let's look at Dori's weapon and artifacts. So it looks like they gave her a sacrificial greatsword, which is weird because I just said she doesn't really need energy recharge, but I suppose it's to spam her skill even more. I can see that sort of logic. That's totally fine. And I guess, like, I'm not saying you shouldn't give her any energy recharge, but you definitely don't need to build heavily into it. So giving her a nice 28% almost energy recharge is, it's a nice effect. Other swords I suppose you can use if you want to are Favonius Greatsword. It also gives you energy recharge, however you would need to build crit rate on your Dori to get the effect consistently. A lot of people were talking about using the bell because she seems to scale off of HP for healing, and we saw that is true in the burst skill attribute section. I think she heals fine without it already. I guess we'll see in the trial how much she heals, and then we'll kind of go off that. But I already think the bell is unnecessary for her. But I suppose Sacrificial Sword is going to be a great option. I'm not too sure about other weapons at the moment. For artifacts, it looks like they just gave her the Noblesse Oblige set. This is fine. Again, keep in mind this is an okay set if this is the only character in your team using it. It does not stack. So if you have multiple people using this stack, then you can consider giving Dori a different artifact set. We're going to take a look at her constellations after I do the trial run. So let's go ahead and give Dori a shot. So there was the shot from her skill. We got the free reset because of the Sacrificial Greatsword, and it did not do that much damage. It does some damage, nothing crazy, and these are only just Hilichurls, so just use Dori just to apply that electro and give her energy. You can see she gets some particles there. There's the burst. So you can kind of run around a bit, not too far, before the tether breaks. Let's see if we can get the burst one more time and look at the healing. I need to take some damage here so we can actually see. Okay, so we're gonna pop Dori's burst. So it's healing, it healed for about 4,000 there? It healed, yeah, I saw the healing tick for about 4,000 when Zhongling was attached to it. Let's go ahead and finish off this trial. I think the healing amount is decent enough. Let's take a look at the constellations next. So we have C1, which is an additional investment. The number of after-sale service rounds created by troubleshooter shots is increased by 1. Now, so we just got done looking at the passive talent, right? You might be thinking, oh, that's good. That means more energy. Not necessarily, right? Because it says you can only earn a maximum of 15 energy this way. So from your initial shot and the 2 additional shots, that's already 15 energy. You're getting the maximum energy from your skill already. So this extra shot isn't doing much for you, I suppose. Like, unless maybe if one of your shots whiffed, one of your extra ones whiffed or something. Maybe this could also be useful for applying more electro in a bigger crowd of enemies. But overall, that's not a really great constellation for Dori. Let's look at C2. When you are in combat and the Genie heals a character it is connected to, it will fire a Genie Toop from that character's position and deal 50% of Dori's attack damage. Again, this doesn't seem that great because you're not building Dori for damage. At least not attack damage, right? You're going to be building her for HP percent for more heals and maybe some energy recharge if you want. But I feel like if you want to do damage with Dori, reactions are the way to go. So you would do Elemental Mastery, not so much attack. I don't see this being that great. And then we already know C3 and C5 are +3 to skill and burst respectively. +3 to the skill isn't going to do much in terms of damage. +3 to the burst will make it heal more, and I'm not sure if it actually gives you more damage, so let's take a look. Well, we can take a look, but I'm not going to know for sure if the increase to the burst will increase the energy restored. C4, I feel like this is probably her best constellation. So the character connected to the Genie will receive the following buffs based on their current HP. So if you're below 50% HP, you gain 50% incoming healing bonus, and when you're below 50% energy, you gain 30% energy recharge. So I think this is good, as it makes your healing do more in a pinch, and you even get more energy off of it, which is great. These are 2 separate effects, and you can get a lot of value from it. It's pretty nice. I think this is, again, probably her best constellation. We're going to skip over to C6. So Dori gains the following effects for 3 seconds after using her skill. She gains Electro Infusion, which means her attacks all do electro damage. And when your normal attacks hit opponents, all nearby party members will heal HP equivalent to 4% of Dori's max HP. This type of healing can occur once every 0.1 seconds. To me, I think this is a very, very disappointing constellation. I already feel like Dori heals well enough, and the whole point of her kit is to be able to do it off screen or off field. So this constellation forces her to be on field to do some healing. Like, yes, it is a AoE heal, but you could just swap to the characters that need to be healed. I do not think this is a great constellation at all. I kind of wish there was a different effect, a completely different effect for her C6. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments that how this could be useful for her. Maybe in exploration, I suppose it'll be convenient, but for like bosses and stuff, you just want to drop that Ginny and hit them with your elemental skill if it's up, and then just move on. I feel like that's Dori's playstyle, is to just be a quick swap character. This makes her not quick swap. Let's talk about potential teams for Dori. So, since she is an electro healer, I feel like she can also fill the same role that Kuki Shinobu does, in that you can use her in a Eula team. If you have a Eula hyper carry team, Dori can make your super conducts easier to proc, and she will also funnel energy to your Eula, so more consistent uptime on her burst could be really nice. You could also think about doing a mono electro team. Pairing her with Yaimiko will probably be a good combo, since Yaimiko has a very expensive burst cost, and Dori can help make that, you know, a little bit easier for you for more consistent burst time, if that's the route you want to go. And finally, this is something I would probably end up trying, but I would like to see how Dori performs in a Hyper Bloom team. Now, you could also make Dori the sort of like DPS of that team if you build her for Elemental Mastery. You can increase the effect of her Aggravate as well as the damage from Hyper Bloom. So it has potential. It has potential. You're just going to have to pair her with a good Hydro support and, of course, a Dendro support to get all that set up. But I don't have those set up on my account, so I can't really test them myself. But there's probably some potential there. Other than that, I don't really see her being used instead of characters like Bennett or Diona in other more popular team comps. But she does have her own niches to fill. My final thoughts on this character are that I kind of felt bad because a lot of people in the community were hating on her design and just not liking the character in general. And I was hoping that the character would be good, but at least to me initially, she's not that great. Unfortunately, if you have other healers in your roster, you know, like Bennett and Diona, as I mentioned before, but also Jean, Sayu, the chances are you already have a healer built, is what I'm saying. So the need for just another healer isn't that great. I mean, the only thing unique about Dori is that she will give you some energy as well while healing your character. But you never know in the future, right? Hoyoverse could always release a new character that synergizes perfectly well with Dori in some way. But yeah, I might be sounding a little too optimistic, but again, you never know. There could be some characters she's perfect with and that ends up being a really strong combo. But do I think she's worth pulling as of right now? You're probably only going to get her because you're pulling on the current banners, right? You want that Ganyu or Kokomi. If you get Kokomi, I feel like she's going to be a better healer than Dori, for sure, and has more utility. But as of right now, if you just want to pull on the banners because you just want Dori, you know, first of all, when it comes to those sorts of decisions, if you just like the character or you like her playstyle, then by all means try your luck in pulling for her. But if you want her because you're hoping she's a really solid unit, I'm gonna say not really as of right now. But keep in mind she is a 4-star character, so it's not like it's gonna be too long before we see her pop up again on someone else's banner. So that's the nice thing about the 4-star characters, at least. But right now, I can't really recommend pulling for Dori. Unless, again, you have one of the teams that I've mentioned, like you have a Eula hyper carry team and you want to try using Dori in it, or a mono electro team, or a hyper bloom team that you have set up. If you do end up pulling her because you're trying to get Ganyu or Kokomi, I would just put her on the shelf for now. That being said, I'm curious to know what you guys think about Dori. Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.